Hey guys, welcome. That says watch along. It's a review! Our review of Kamen Rider Amazons, or Amazon Riders, Episode 10. I'm your host, Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have...
Cinder Blaze.
My dude, welcome back. We just got done watching this episode, and I'm gonna be honest, this was another good one. It was not as good as Episode 9, or as well executed, but I think what we got... you said it best when you said we're actually getting plot progression in this episode. So I don't know, like this episode was on the up and up. I'm gonna check right now because I didn't want to check earlier for it to color my opinion. I want to see if we've got the same director as the last episode. So Alex, what did you think about this one?
I felt like I really enjoyed this episode. It probably didn't have like the most like engaging kind of like side storyline, but we did actually have some more development for our main one, where we kind of see what like the pharmaceutical company is actually doing now. We have two factions that are kind of going different ways on like dealing with the Amazons. We have was it the short-haired lady who just wants to kind of get rid of all the Amazons and kind of wipe that mistake off the face of the company, whereas someone else is trying to like, you know, use it, you know, like, oh, well, we got them all out there, might as well like experiment and, you know, do something with it. And they developed like this new type of Amazon apparently by inserting this like the Amazon DNA or cells into like dead people. So like that probably has like its own implications either in like the field of medicine or just like, you know, kind of like manufacturing humans in a way. Yeah. Like, that's actually just completely nutty, so...
Or rather, manufacturing weapons. Yeah, like, we haven't had this sort of scope at all until these last few episodes. And I feel like, again, you said it best when we sort of don't have time to not have plot, and it's all sort of crammed into these last few episodes. And I feel like this is where the show's length works to its benefit. In any other 20-minute show, if you run out of time and you're up against the clock and your show's about to end, you got to cram all you can. Since we have a little bit more time, that cramming has a little bit more room to breathe, and we get, you know, interesting, compelling stories. Not just that, we have, again, the director from episode 9 coming in to save this show. So, God, I hope he sticks around, because we got a few episodes left, and you just got to stick through. And a lot of these, I feel, these episodes are sort of flowing into each other. Because I think from episode 8 to 9, there wasn't really a direct flow, but now from 9 onward, I feel like there's this clear narrative that me personally, I feel like is what you know what, this is only an assumption from 2 episodes, but I feel like this is really the story that Amazon wanted to tell, and we just sort of got filler in between to get here. And structurally, I think a lot could have been done in order to make it more interesting throughout. But, you know, I'm glad that we at least got some good episodes out of this.
Yeah, like, I feel like if they kind of developed that Sigma's, like, original persona a little bit more, then maybe we'd care about, like, him being, like, a former member of the Extermination Squad. Because, like, right now I'm like, oh, that's neat, you know? And I guess it does make sense because, like, he was one of the first on-screen deaths that we've seen. So to see him have, like, the Amazon cells implanted into his dead body, it would, like, we would understand it a bit more. Like, oh, this guy is supposed to be dead, but since he was inserted with this special type of cell, he's this way because of a reason. And another thing that kind of, like, I wanted to say about Sigma is he's not like a super compelling villain, but he's grounding the show in a way where, like, he's something that they have to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, Like, it's a lot easier for the show to kind of like wrap the plot around him, and he's for now it's really streamlining it because like he goes out
Yeah.
for specific reasons, and we kind of just like he's not digging around. He's
Yeah.
there for like a brief amount of time. Like at the end of this episode, he makes like the makeshift like band to create the signal and to get
Hmm.
the other two common riders or the two Amazons out so he can just like it further enhance himself.
Yeah.
And that's all he needs to do. Like there's nothing else to it, but
Yeah. And I feel like just by the nature of his character, it really lends itself to that kind of progressive story. Like, um, the show needs a plot device, and he is sort of a device being used by the company. Like, he's
he's
just a
also
plot
a
device
threat.
with a name. Yeah, a threat, and it's his inclusion is so interesting. Um, just because of the implications that he brings with him with the rest of the pharmaceutical companies, like other dealings. Um, I do kind of want to talk more on him, but I also want to sort of run through what we've had with Haruka's sister lover. Uh, because we got the imagery of the aquarium thrown back at us, and now it's kind of like weirdly reflected back onto her, like she has put herself in the aquarium, she has put herself in the cage, and I feel like maybe there's something to it where she needs to break free of, like, break free of her mental state of like, I need to bring Haruka back, or at least her dependence on having Haruka around. Maybe this is something for her character to like break out of her shell and like actually be a driving force in her own life. Um,
Yeah. And while that is like good for that character, like
mhm.
it's a good character arc
Yeah,
for her.
yeah,
Like part of me is also struggling as to like why, like right now she doesn't really have much of a bearing on basically anyone. Like the
hmm,
interactions between her and her mother has been really limited. Like there has been some, but
yeah.
kind of just like dropped that as a thing for the longest time. And her interactions with Haruka don't really like feel like, I mean, like they do feel genuine in a way, but they don't feel like significant. Like I
See,
haven't seen them interact in a positive way, and like for so long. Like they haven't had like
mhm,
actual moments with each other. They just keep on referring to stuff that's happened in the past,
yeah.
but like nothing like
So what I'm
I don't
thinking
know.
is like they probably have to operate on footage they already have and they've already shot. Like that is maybe the constraint they're working off of, because we get a lot of flashbacks, but it's only to previous episodes. And if we needed
And
that
current
image,
episodes.
yeah, yeah. But if we needed that imagery, we like there might not it might not be in the budget for that, because it looks like they're running out of budget. But I did want to touch on the mom stuff, because I feel like the show is actively telling you that the mom doesn't care. And we haven't had those interactions for a reason. It's because like she went out, she keeps walking off after school alone, and like you'd think the mom would care at all that she'd make it home, but the mom is so hyper focused on not just the weird sounding like rain project, but Haruka. Her main focus is Haruka, and I kind of want to see what those ramifications are for the daughter.
Yeah, but like we haven't really had much of a family dynamic with those characters.
Hmm.
So like that's something where you might want to see it fleshed out a little bit more,
Yeah,
but we've also just like missed the timing for it. So
but like I feel like, and I know the broken record, but the with this new director, I feel like it's a different show. I feel like now like this guy knows sort of what he's doing and how to sort of balance different characters. And if he wants her, and if he wants those scenes, then he'll put them in, and I so like he's weirdly already he's built up enough goodwill because the show's been so bad, and it like him taking over has really surprised me and blown me away. So he's built up enough goodwill from that I think he might do something interesting with her. Maybe turn her into an Amazon. Maybe she dies and becomes a one of the new Amazons, or something to that nature. And I'm excited to sort of explore that,
Yeah.
whether it happens or not.
Yeah.
Um, I also want to touch on Jin and his relationship with his girlfriend, and that was the most endearing and most characterful moment that we've had. I absolutely love big character moments with big personalities, and just not a lot of dialogue. You know, like the bare minimum for dialogue, and it's all between the characters, the actors, and how the scene is portrayed. And I think alongside the blocking of those shots, it was just really well done.
Yeah. I mean, like we already kind of knew that the truck was like behind the, the other one, but like they
Oh
actually
no no
did
no!
execute it kind of well.
What I was talking about was the scene where they were back at home.
Oh, well, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Uh,
What? Jin and his girlfriend.
oh, that I thought you were talking about the Extermination Squad,
Oh
but
no 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 no.
yeah, that
Yeah
one was phenomenal. You
yeah
know,
yeah.
like one of the gripes we had for this entire series was just like the lack of actual characters, and we're just
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, at least Jin and his girlfriend are like the actual people who feel like people in this
Yeah
series, and not just
yeah
like plot tools.
yeah.
And for them to kind of like have that moment, it it makes us more attached to those characters, and if anything kind of happens to them, like we're just we feel it a lot more. Like
Yeah
right
yeah.
now, I really don't want Jin to die, even though like he's put in this like really risky situation where
Mm-hmm.
he has that really strong feeling of responsibility for all the Amazon stuff, and
Yeah
that's why he's going to these extremes to go in and like exterminate them all. Like Haruka really doesn't feel it that much. He's kind of like seeing it from like a different lens. He's like, why are you killing all these innocent people? Whereas like Jin kind of sees it as something that like as a mess that he has to clean up himself.
yeah. Like
Like
his
even though it can be
responsibility.
kind of like awful to kill humans, this is something that he brought upon the
Yeah
world and he has to fix it. So
yeah. But to him, they're not like. In order for him, I feel like to dissociate from that, he calls them Amazon specifically, and they're not really humans. You know.
yeah, and then like just seeing how his girlfriend kind of like deals with all that stuff. You
Yeah.
know, you can actually just like feel the pain for both of them. So uh, it was really good. It was really good.
yeah, yeah. Um. Now, I do also want to touch on character moments with Haruka and the head honcho guy with tilted helmet. I felt like those scenes were really effective. They did sort of blurt out their ideals, but like it was something that they had developed, they'd shown, they'd established, and once it all came to a head, there was a discussion about it. And they said the bare minimum of what needed to be said, and again, just let the characters do their thing. And seeing the clash between their ideals, not just through the words but through their various actions early on, it really helped build that scene up and make it like they were reaching a boiling point. So I
Yeah,
thought that was very effective.
yeah, that whole fight was just great.
Yeah, yeah, and like it's so surprising the stark contrast between just what we've seen before and what we have now. Because I don't feel insulted. I don't feel like my intelligence is being insulted by what I'm seeing. Because they know that we understand the situation. They know that we understand the nuance. Like, it is an adult show that's treating me like an adult and not holding my hand through the narrative. And I feel like that is the biggest plus to this show. Not holding our hand. And for an adult-oriented show, that is immensely important.
Yeah. This. Yeah. It's a completely different show right now.
I know.
That's
I know.
the thing that's kind of like baffling me right now.
Yeah.
And like they did set up a lot of these things. I guess now that they've done all the hard work, it's a little bit easier for them to tie up the ends.
Well,
I feel like this is the
like the writer has been, I think, the same throughout. It's just the direct. We're seeing it through a different lens. So all these events have happened. We're just looking at it differently, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's this director's interpretation, and it's a much better one. Yeah, like it. The maturity of this show, is not really sort of personified by, or like sort of. It isn't personified by just, you know, the gore and the blood. It should also be the maturity of how you treat the problems and how you treat the audience. And I feel like I'm being treated like a mature audience. And really that's exactly what you want from this kind of show. At least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have anything else you want to say? You know what? We sort of skipped over Sigma again. No, we didn't. We talked about him earlier. Yeah. I do want to ask you, what did you think about the chess imagery?
What chest imagery?
Chess
Imagery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was one of the things that they should have set up before, because I forgot that he was playing.
That was effective. No, not effective. I kept saying effective. That was established the episode prior. I'll defeat you in 5 moves, and then we got to see it. You know, the.
Yeah, but like one thing that kind of like took me out of it was when one of the people from the extermination squad was like, "Don't you like mock his like, or don't you use his like chess references or something?" So I'm assuming that's something that he used in like the first couple of episodes when he was fighting in the extermination squad, because like he looked like that analytical type of person.
Okay.
But it's been so long that I kind of forgot about it, and I like.
Or maybe it's like retroactively putting that in.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So it feels a little off putting that way, but like. Yeah, it still works.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So yeah, this episode works. I liked it. Alex liked it. Tell us what you thought in the comments down below. We finally like Amazons now. Well, I never thought I'd be able to say that. I'm so happy that I'm able to say that. So guys, if you like this episode, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week. Next week we'll be doing episode 11, so make sure to come by and check that out. Check that out. Guys, thanks for watching. Keep it juicy.
See ya.
Man.
Check that out.
You know, I really should be looking to see when these episodes are going up, and then also when build ends, because we will inevitably collide with this show.